see the speed difference right away.
Campa fires off the straight right of the zone. Good head movement from Lopez, and a two-punch combination working his way off the ropes. And a sweeping right hand.
If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and enjoy the show. What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and today we're going to be going over the stats that often get overlooked when mentioning Teofimo Lopez. Guys, we're going to be going over the last 10 fights of Lopez's career, and the purpose for this is to dissect his strength of schedule, his journey, his opponent's win-loss record. What this is going to do is give us a better understanding of the road that Lopez has taken. Over those last 10 fights, he's not perfect. He has a blemish. Before we get into those stats, we're going to talk about some things that we know about him. We know that the takeover is 20-1. He does have 13 knockouts, which gives him a 65% knockout to win ratio. He does have power, so his opponents must always be on their best behavior while in the ring with Teo. He is the WBO super lightweight world champion. He's an American Orthodox fighter. He's still only 26 years old and standing at 5'8" with a 68.5-inch reach. He makes it an interesting puzzle for everyone who steps in to the ring with him. Now, dating back 10 fights ago, we're going to start at that Magdaleno fight, and we're going to finish with his most recent fight with Jermaine Ortiz. Guys, if you haven't tuned into any of these breakdowns statistically that we've done, let me explain something real quick. We're adding up the win-loss records of Teo's opponents on the night that they fought Lopez. For instance, when Lomachenko fought Lopez, he was 14-1. After he lost that unanimous decision, he was 14-2. So the numbers that get tallied up in order to do our equation are on fight night. And 10 fights ago, Lopez fought Magdaleno, who was 31-2. He lost via knockout in the 7th. Then he fought Tatley, who was 31-2. Knockout in the 5th. Nakatani, 18-0. UD in the 12th. Richard Comey, 29-2. Knockout in the 2nd. Lomachenko, 14-1. UD in the 12th. Kambosos, 19-0. Lost a split decision. Campa, 34-1. Knockout in the 7th. Sandor Martin, 40-2, split decision in the 12th. Josh Taylor, 19-0, UD in the 12th. Jermaine Ortiz, 17-1, UD in the 12th. Guys, if you take all those opponents over the last 10, Teo beat 2 undefeated fighters. He fought 3, but that third one was that split decision loss to Kambosos. A lot of people say if Teo wouldn't have got dropped early on, he actually would have eked that out. But the records show that was definitely a loss. And over the last 10, he went 9-1, and he had 4 knockouts. Let's tally those numbers up real quick. If you take all the wins from all of his opponents, 252 over the last 10 with only 11 losses. That gives Teofimo Lopez a 96% win-loss ratio of his strength of schedule of all of his opponents, which tells us the more advanced you get as a boxer, you're not going in there with bums. You're not going in there with tomato cans. Maybe early on in your career, your first 10 fights, you're fighting guys with records, maybe a 500, 20-18, 8-12. But when you get to the level of Teo, you're fighting guys on their best night every single fight. And this gives us a better understanding of the difficulty each fighter has in front of them to make it to the level of a Teofimo Lopez. When I look back at the last 10, a fight that I am going to dissect now was the Josh Taylor fight. Most people always bring up that Lomachenko fight, but the reason why I like that Josh Taylor fight is because we got to see him overcome a lot of adversity with the Kambosos fight. He was in the media. We know about his personal issues. We know about where his headspace was. And even though that Taylor fight wasn't directly after, he went to fight Campa. He won by knockout, but he had kind of a pedestrian performance against Martin. And people really didn't know what to expect going into that Josh Taylor fight. The Scotsman was undefeated, 19-0. We know that he had the size advantage. When Teofimo Lopez went on to win the WBO and ring super lightweight titles that night, won a unanimous decision via 115-113, 115-113, and 117-111. And in my opinion, it was his best fight. He didn't win by knockout, but he looked great. And all in all, I thought all of his skills were on display. And that fight, like I said, in front of a sold-out crowd at the Hulu Theater in New York's Madison Square Garden, Lopez dismantled, befuddled, and dominated Taylor en route to that win. Although two of the scorecards had the fight, like I said, at 115 and 113, I didn't think it was that close. It appeared that the former unified lightweight champion dominated with a scintillating combination of speed, timing, and cat-like reflexes. And more importantly, guys, it was the first fight since Kambosos that we saw Teo have fun in there. There were questions about whether Lopez was a one-hit wonder following his stunning decision victory over Loma in 2020. He followed that victory up with a stunning loss to Kambosos and then turned in a pair of uninspired performances against Campa and Martin. Some believe that he was affected by his life outside of the ring, as his behavior in interviews seemed to be a bit bizarre. But during the fight, Lopez was absolutely stellar. He routinely slammed right hands and uppercuts into Taylor. After a tedious first round, Lopez began to take control by timing Taylor's advances and picking him off with right hands whenever he drew close. Taylor attempted to impose his size on Lopez, but the 25-year-old routinely skated away and avoided damage with slick upper body movement. And guys, when Lopez is at his best, he is world class. His movement, him being slick, being unhittable. He also has this intuitiveness about him of being able to slide out of the pocket just in time and then be able to slide back into counter. And he's really beautiful to watch when he's at his best. Fight slowly getting away from Taylor, Lopez sensed his opponent's frustration and put a stamp on his performance by landing a leaping left hand in the 8th round that landed flush. From that point on, Taylor was discouraged and taken completely out of the fight, especially psychologically. His body language in between the rounds of the 9th, 10th, and 11th, guys, if you watch that fight, you'd be able to agree with that. Even with the fight seemingly in control, Lopez refused to take the final round off and throttled his Scottish opponent with a bevy of uppercuts, body shots, and thudding combinations that nearly ended the fight. It turns out that he needed that final round as well to become a 2-division world champion. And guys, this is the fight that in between rounds, Lopez asked out loud with the camera on him, "Do I still have it?" And he looked at the camera and said, absolutely, answering it himself. Guys, if you want me to feature your favorite fighter, your favorite fight, or potential matchup in the comment section below, let me know who you want me to do. Gladly do it for you.
And new WBO Lineal Junior welterweight champion of the world, the Takeover!